I don't think we're doing any photography today at all.
I'm beginning a mega landscape photography road trip along the Wild Atlantic Way in Ireland. And as per usual for this channel, the weather forecast is atrocious, with 40 to 50 mile an hour winds and heavy rain over the next 2 days. As you can imagine, with a weather forecast like this, I am not feeling optimistic for photography. And to add insult to injury, I'm having major electrical van problems, which could seriously compromise this road trip.
Well, this is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Can't get out of the van because it's blowing 40 mile an hour wind and raining, but it's lovely. But unfortunately, the van is having some problems. There are some electrical gremlins that are going to cause me a bit of a headache. I noticed that when I put my foot on the brake, the front fog lights came on, like brake lights. And I thought, it's a bit unusual. Why are the fog lights coming on every time I brake? Now I've just checked the rear. I have no tail lights. So I have headlights, I have fog lights, but only when I brake. I have no tail lights, but I have brake lights. Right, my only hope is that it's a fuse. Which fuse is the brake lights? I believe that this fuse here are my tail lights, so it could be that one. We may well have a culprit. 10 amp fuse. There we go. If this doesn't work, we are only driving during daylight hours, and that is going to be a pain, especially when getting home. Yes! Oh yes! You know when you have a problem with your car, and the first thing people say and the first thing you think is, have you checked the fuses? It's never a fuse, like ever. So I'm so happy. Right, okay, woo!
Well, I was happy and quite frankly relieved to have a fully working van, but the fact of the matter still remains. As it stands, this weather is completely unshootable. I don't know what it is. Every time I come away on the van or go on a road trip or go anywhere, I'm plagued by bad weather. So I can't get out at the minute, it's just not shootable. Which is a shame, because Hasselblad are sponsoring this video, and as part of the sponsored video, they wanted me to test out this 20 to 35 lens, which obviously I can't do at the minute. Although, tomorrow morning we can. We're at a beautiful location. The wind and the rain, well, the rain stops, the wind still persists, and we're still going to get those stormy skies, but there'll be no rain, so it should be shootable. Now, the 20 to 35 lens is an interesting one. The reason I say that is because this is their E-Series lens. E-Series stands for exclusive. It's expensive, it's premium, and they say that this is just as high quality as their primes. Now, the reason I say that's interesting is because Hasselblad's current lens lineup in this range, they have a 21, 25, 28, I believe, and a 30. But with this one lens, you get all of that and more, and it should, in theory, be the same quality. Now, as you're aware, I own this camera. I don't own this lens, but I own this camera, and I love it, and I'm going to need more lenses. So I'm very interested personally to try out this 20 to 35 to see if it's good enough for me to invest in. Now, I have used this lens already. I took it to Sweden with me, and I'm blown away by the quality. Now, I'm definitely not a gear tester. I haven't tested this lens, but I've used it in real world circumstances, and the images that I've got out of this lens are beautiful. The clarity, the micro contrast, the sharpness, fantastic. Zero complaints at the edges, all different focal lengths. This lens has performed superbly, and so it should, being their premium E-Series lens. Now, if you want to see a video that goes into great detail about this lens that's far more informative than anything I can say, I would recommend Ted Forbes. He did a great video on this lens. I think also Gavin Hardcastle did a video on this lens, but I wouldn't bother yourself with that. So image quality, build quality, fantastic, and hopefully we'll see that tomorrow morning when I'm allowed to get out of the van. But there are a couple of negatives. It wouldn't be a video of mine if I didn't have the opportunity to have a little whinge. The first one, which I suppose is up for debate, it's quite a big, heavy lens, but then it's medium format, so that's to be expected. But also you got to bear in mind that to get the same focal range that you have with this lens, well, you would need about 4 prime lenses, so The next complaint is that this lens doesn't have the clutch. See, my 55mm lens that came with this camera, that has a clutch on it that you pull back and it reveals your depth of field scale and you can manually focus. That doesn't have on this lens, and that's a shame because it's such a beautiful thing, great action, a very tactile way to focus manually. Now, of course, you can still manually focus with this lens, it just doesn't have that clutch with the lovely depth of field scale, which I think is like it sets these lenses apart. Now, I'm not an engineer or a lens designer, but I am quite surprised that such a high-end premium lens doesn't have a fixed aperture. It has a variable aperture of f3.2 to 4.5, but for my work, it really doesn't make too much of a difference. So once again, thank you to Hasselblad for sponsoring this video and for loaning me this lens to try out. Right, now I've got some time to kill. I've got a live stream with the 617 Club in a few hours, which I'm a bit worried about because I have very little phone service and I don't want to be missing like the first live streams of the club. But yeah, we'll see. Pretty much I'm going to be killing time until tomorrow morning when this storm passes. Sorry, while we're here, I just want to quickly answer Perry Schieneman's question about have you considered doing a meetup in the USA.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's very windy today, and I'm stood next to a bloody 500-foot cliff. Right. This is magnificent, absolutely glorious. This sea stack is just incredible. And there's only one thing, just one thing that I need to consider and be mindful of today that's going to make or break the shot. And that is my shutter speed. So I have two of these tripods, this one and an identical one that has 2-inch spikes on the bottom of the legs. I should have brought the spikes, I didn't. Yeah, yeah, this is gonna be challenging to say the least. So as I'm sure you can imagine, everything is very unstable with the wind that we have. We are somewhat sheltered by the lee of these cliffs, but the wind is still rotating around and buffeting off everything. But yeah, this is beautiful. My initial thought was to go for a really long exposure, 30 seconds, 1 minute. But I think that would be a mistake. I love the quiet, minimalist nature of those types of images, but in this instance, the swell is huge. And the waves are crashing around this sea stack. And I think that energy is what I want to capture. Now, whether I freeze that movement and that energy, or allow it to move a little bit with like a half-second exposure, something along those lines, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's very cool. Pop a polarizer on, which is going to darken the water and just give me so much more contrast and drama. So I'm making sure that every shot that I take, I go in and make sure that it's sharp, because, yeah, like Mr. Wobble here, it's a miracle actually that they are sharp, and I'm putting that down to the image stabilization of this camera, which is just phenomenal, because there's no way that every shot I've been taking has been perfectly steady, not in this wind on this bouncy grass. Well, this has been incredible. Like, I say this a lot, but it's always worth getting out. Like, I so close to staying in bed this morning. I woke up, the wind was battering the van, it was raining a little bit, and I was actually, I'll let you into a secret, I was relieved and happy that it was raining, because it meant I'd just get to stay in bed a bit longer. It was an excuse to stay in bed. But then the rain eased off and I dragged myself out of the duvet reluctantly walked up here this morning thinking there's no point, it's grey, it's windy, it's miserable, it's horrible. Why do I always get weather like this? And then I'm here and I'm having this time of my life because it's weather like this. It gives us conditions like this. It's fantastic. And I've got a shot this morning that I am very happy with. So now I'm going to go back to my van, have breakfast, satisfied that I've had a productive morning and then I've actually done something. So that is going to be a well-earned cup of coffee.
Even with the extreme weather conditions, I was still able to get a beautifully crisp, sharp image from this camera and lens. And one thing you'll notice throughout my road trip in Ireland is that this lens is hardly ever off the camera. So with that being said, I can enjoy my morning coffee, safe in the knowledge that the weather will improve and that nothing can bring down my mood. Well, almost nothing.
Hello.
Hi Tom, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, listen, is it true that you've also got a Hasselblad X2D like me? And don't get used to that.
Yeah, that's right. I do have an X2D now, yes.
And did you also get to try out that gorgeous new 20 to 35E?
Yeah, I did. I've just watched your video actually from Iceland. Beautiful work, mate. Well done. You got some lovely weather conditions there.
Ah, cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. It sounds like you're driving, Tom. Are you just driving around the UK or something?
No, Ireland.
Ooh, nice. What are the conditions like?
Yeah, mainly drizzle, wind, rain, grey skies, gloom. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds terrible, mate. Yeah, so I guess my images with the Hasselblad 20 to 35E, they're probably just better than yours, eh?
Yeah, I guess your images with it will be better, yeah. Uh-huh.
So I've got a Hasselblad X2D. You've got a Hasselblad X2D. We're kind of the same, you know. That makes us camera buddies.
Yeah, I guess we are the same, yeah, probably. Although, just out of interest, hey, what colour is your X2D?
Black, obviously, like everybody else's.
Yeah,
They're all black.
yeah, well, they are all black. Yeah, apart from the selected few who get a green one.
Green?
Well, actually, tundra brown.
Tundra brown? Green tundra brown? What?
Yeah.
Tundra brown? Green tundra brown?
So
Green?
I guess we're not quite the same after all, Gavin.
What's wrong with this one?
Black.
Anyway, look, I've got to go, but enjoy your black regular X2D, and yeah, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Think I can get a tin of green spray paint at Canadian Tire?